The Common Core state standards were developed for states to provide a consistent set of clear K through 12 expectations. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Joining me now is a distinguished professor for the College of Education at Michigan State University, Dr. Bill Schmidt. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So many folks fall either on the I love Common Core, we're doing the right thing, it's really a benefit, or gosh, this thing is horrible, it's so backwards from what I know and I hate everything that it has to do with. What's the reality? Is the Common Core benefiting the kids, the students here in our state?
That's the ultimate question, but so far it looks to be the answer would be yes. We have had standards in the past which have not served our kids well. We fall behind on international tests. We show that our kids don't do well. And in a very technological society and economy, this is not a good thing for our kids. So these standards are good mathematically. They are comparable to what the rest of the world, the top performing countries do. So we know that. So yeah, they are. And the mathematics is good and solid and sound. There's a lot of political discussion around this, but I just want to assure parents that the mathematics, it's done there. If the children learn that, they will be better served and better able to find jobs and perform in today's world.
Parents aren't going to ever fully understand what the Common Core is, how has it changed, but what you would like them to understand is that it really didn't change any curriculum, if you will. It's more about standards.
Yeah, the Common Core standards are standards. They're not a curriculum. And I think that's very important to understand. Nobody is dictating the exact books that should be used, the exact materials, what approach teachers should take. It simply says this is what children should know at the end of third grade or at the end of fifth grade, etc. That's what most every country in the world does, is to set the expectations of what children should have in order to function in today's world.
A large part of the criticism that you hear is about the testing. Well, there's too much of it, it's happening too often, it's taking away from the learning. Teachers criticize it, and so when teachers criticize it, parents sort of pick up, well, the teachers must, if the teachers don't like it, it must be bad. But Common Core isn't really the reason for the added testing in Michigan.
No, I think that's another misconception people have. You know, I actually think we do too much testing. That might surprise people, but I do think that's true. But that's a separate issue. That's mandated by the other legislation that exists within the country, like No Child Left Behind. So we've been testing kids a lot for a long time. The Common Core makes no additional requirements with respect to testing. The test may be different, but it's not, so if people don't like the testing, deal with that policy. It's not the Common Core that's requiring or forcing those particular tests that people might not like.
If there was one thing you wanted parents in particular to understand about Common Core and maybe how it's misunderstood, what would that be?
Well, I think part of the reason parents misunderstand it is the materials that their kids bring home. They need to understand that those are developed commercially. And quite honestly, we've done a very extensive analysis of this, and they're not very good. They don't line up with the Common Core. So don't make judgments about the Common Core. It's a set of expectations, as you said. It's not a curriculum. So the curriculum that your child may be doing, you might not like it, but that's not the Common Core. That's somebody's interpretation thereof.
How is it doing? Are we making improvements? Can we see now with these new standards that we're doing better? It was adopted several years ago.
It's still too early because it's just filtering its way in, and one would hope to see these kinds of differences shortly. But at this point, we really don't have the evidence yet to say one way or the other. But again, there are studies that show we're on the right track. We're doing what other countries do that do well.
All right, well, it's good to hear positive things once in a while about Common Core. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Dr. Bill Schmidt, a distinguished professor for the College of Education at Michigan State University.